Ta-da, bum, bum, bum. Hey, Instagram, via the internet. It's me, T from the Pattersons. Take a change a bit. I know I got my big coat on. It's morning. Morning meaning is grand rising is happening right there, you know. So let's make this a grand rising report, and let's make this real quick too. Okay, now I won't keep on this. You gotta have 1,000 people to go live anyway. I'm going live. I'm going live until they stop me from going live. But anyway, this will be short anyway. Okay, here we go. I'm highly entertained all the time. I'm surrounded by entertainment. That's also to say I entertain myself. But here's the thing. I was last night. I have a little not my data, my battery. It's a whole thing. I'm in the village right now, and it's a whole thing with electricity. I can't explain it. Anyway, so I was scrolling through the Instagram last night and or the internet, some the YouTube, right? And I came across this headline, and it was what was it? It was Stephen A. Smith was going to respond to Michelle Obama. It seems like Michelle Obama has a podcast. She has a podcast with her brother Craig or something like that. Okay, and it seems like somehow she mentioned him, and so I guess the thing is going to be about Stephen A. where he's going to retort. Now, I'm not looking at it right. Well, look, I can't. Not my data, but my electricity. So I'm not going to be on the internet a lot today or whatever until I figure out what the heck's going on. Anyway, um, here's the thing, Michelle Obama. First of all, so I checked out. They showed a clip, right, and it's really interesting because Michelle. The first thing, let me tell you about her podcast. Now she's supposed to have money. You know what I'm saying? Supposed to. I don't know. But her setup, let me say something about podcasts. Podcasts is like television, early television in the 50s, right? They have some basic setups, right? I'm talking about podcasts now. But you understand early television in the 50s, they really was just doing radio on TV. So a podcast is nothing but radio. Let me just put it that way. Now, somebody like Michelle Obama is supposed to have all this money. Excuse me. Supposed to have all this money. You'd think she'd have at least somewhat of a set. I mean, I got a set. Oh, well, I always podcast wherever. Podcast. I always spew. I always talk these days wherever I am. It doesn't matter. So I don't have a set. Well, I do have a set. Someplace I have it, and I set some stuff up, blah, blah, blah. But not right now. But here's the thing. If you have all this money, then why don't you get yourself a proper set? See, when she's doing her little podcasting, I only saw clips of it, right? And it's like, to me, it's like, what do you call that? What's the thing that Will Smith's person is supposed to be doing? Red Table, that thing that Mrs. Smith was doing, Mrs. Pinkett Smith, whatever her name is, right? She had a set, you know what I mean? And people have sets. People who got money got sets. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got no set. In fact, it looks pretty stupid. They still sitting in the room and her brother's over there. Anyway, for this particular one, it seems as though they were talking like I call it a women thing, you know. And there's making a comparison. What's the logical comparison about sports and like what men listen to and what women listen to, or something like some weird thing like that. And they were saying something like, Michelle was saying, can I call her Michelle? Oh, Michelle was saying, she was saying, like, you know, she's into culture, and so she watches the Real Housewives thing. So this is culture, right? When there's men might be into sports, you know, but they're the same thing. It's like the old thing when I was young, when I was growing up. We all knew that mostly women, it's like men do it, but mostly women were into soap operas, but the men's soap operas was wrestling. That's as simple as that. You know, you had the whole plot like that. Hey, Lace, what time is it? Okay, whatever. How you doing, girl? I'm glad you enjoyed your birthday, your life day, your birthday, whatever they call it these days. Anyway, I got to talk about Michelle. Might be your girl. And so... And so I'm looking at this thing. Well, first of all, it's a wanton podcast. But here's the thing: the way the conversation was going. Oh, okay, Lace, you may understand this. There's the thing. It's a bad term, but I have to say it like this, right? There's a thing called a fag hag, and that's basically is women who basically hang out with homosexual men. Mainly homosexual men. That's why it's called what. It's not like lesbian. It's not like whatever these new terms are. It's like they make friends with homosexual men because I guess homosexual men feel like they're part of them, and the women feel safe with them. I don't know what the deal is, right? Anyway, but the point is, she had on her podcast talking about this little phenomenon. I don't know if both of them were, at least the one that I saw in the clip. Like I said, I don't really watch these things. It's like what we call moist. Okay, so and then you got her brothers seems moist. People who need to decode will decode, and I'm going like, yeah, okay. So what's the beef here? What's the matter, Stephen? Some they do and were I Stephen, which I'm not. What's why Stephen A? I would say, oh, I understand. She's got to get views, and I'm a big guy, so she's got to chime in on our thing because she mentioned him by name. That's how it started. But if I was Stephen, I would take the high road. I said, look, Michelle, Mrs. Obama, Barack's wifey, look, I know you got to, you got to mention people because that's the way you roll. I know you really wasn't doing anything against me or anything like that, but I'm gonna let you go. I know you got to get your numbers up for your little for your thing you're doing. I know you're not really a what do you call that, a broadcaster. You're really, I guess you're really a mom. Because you're not really even a politician's wife, because you didn't do the politician's wife thing. Remember, you were supposed to be Hillary Clinton 2.0. In other words, what Hillary did with Big Bill, you were supposed to do with Barack, but you done scuttled away from that. You know what I mean? You didn't want to be a powerful woman. Now you want to be a podcaster. You want your opinion heard, but you had every opportunity to do. You didn't. Let me say one more thing about this whole. Here's the funny thing. I like Michelle, beginning, not because she was black, whatever, because she's a house kitty from Chicago, where warehouse, where house was brought to the fore. So she's actually a house kitty. I think they had a house, a day for house music. House music is dance music. House music, where they made a dedicated street in Chicago, something like that. I mean, my main Lace is one of my dance partners when we went to Shelter. You know what I mean? And but my main dance partner was Darcine, and she's from Chicago. We used to have this all day. No house in Chicago, no house in New York. I give it up because house did start in Chicago. We won't get into that right now. But here's the thing: house comes from a thing where black homosexual men were isolated. You know what I mean? Just regular racism, right? And so they started their own thing at their club. So you had to, so blah blah blah. And that's at least. Let me just stay the New York context. You had a situation where we had a club, and to make sure that the homosexual men weren't harassed, you had to be a member of that club. Then you was a member, you went to the club, and so if you acted out of the door, they just kick you out the club because you're not, you had that membership card and stuff like that. When Lace and Darcine and had different dance partners, would sometimes come to a shelter. They call it Club Shelter now, but shelter down there in the Tribeca area. Again, he had a membership, but it's like mainly it's what we call a gay scene, if you want, like that. But it wasn't like, but anybody could come in. You know what I mean? But they had the best music, best dancers, It went all night long. They did a whole bunch of things, and it was no violence and stuff like that. So it wasn't people sitting on the wall, waiting somebody coming to approach you. You'd be on the dance floor, somebody join you on the dance floor or not. You. So when I'm looking at Michelle, and she has these moist, well, at least one moist guy on there, I'm going like, well, she's of that culture, and that's what she relates to. What's the problem? She obviously, and sometimes, obviously, she don't. For culture, she's not talking about, say, hip hop culture or church culture or whatever. Her culture is, like I said, house culture. So I can see where she's where she has those kind of people on her, that cultural thing line on her radar. But we're a subculture. House kitties, house people like me who dance house. Well, not anymore. Whatever. Well, it's simple. Then we don't want to be bothered by anybody else because you wouldn't bring your violence and your whatever to us. No, this is a joy. It comes from church, right? It comes from love, uh, and it's a thing of releasing and stuff like that, releasing tension of the week and da 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 da. Well, I'm sorry, but if this beef goes or not beef, I guess either I don't think she didn't intentionally want to start beef. It's just that the topics they were talking about was like basically what women would talk about, right? Even though some men would talk about. So I hope Stephen. I'm not going to watch the thing, but I hope that Stephen A. and whatever. I hope they don't start no beef because it's all about numbers. I guess that's what it's about, and that's not what you want. Now this is how we say these are times when we have to. I don't say be serious. You have to release and stuff like that. But these are times you got to sort of be focused and be on your square, on your game. So anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you about this morning. I'm not talking a lot on Instagram these days. I keep on sharing stuff like that. But hey, it's a wonderful day in the village. I had a good day yesterday. I'm gonna chill today too. I shouldn't say chill. I have work to do, and I'll drink out my water out my copper cup. Got this from the VA when I was in New York. Even though it's made in India, I gotta get back. I'm getting back to India. Anyway, copper cup. Talk to you later.